Welcome to training video number 3. In this video, a mentor or adult buddy will share her experiences in mentoring some children from elementary school through adulthood. We have only asked that you commit to 1 school year. However, you may find that you become attached to your student buddy, as this mentor did, and wish to continue mentoring them. This is not only permissible, but it can be very beneficial to your student buddy. Listen closely as Valerie tells us about her experiences.
In this video, I want to share with you my experiences as a mentor for young people. The word mentor means guide, someone who will listen, answer questions, and, if asked, make suggestions about how to navigate a situation. A mentor is not a parent or a guardian, but instead an individual with whom a young person can build a relationship and with whom a mentee or a buddy can feel comfortable asking questions and spending time. A mentor is also someone who is willing to give some uninterrupted attention to a young person and who will listen and show interest in the mentee's life. I mentored 2 families with 4 children and 1 with 5 children. I worked with the youngest 2 girls in one family and the youngest one in the other. My husband focused on the 2 boys. In my experience, the parents were overwhelmed with day-to-day living issues and had little time to spare. All the mentees were in elementary school when we began. The first thing we did is find out what their interests were and some of their experiences. We would bring a board game to play together, or we would play cards, or even make up games with some of our mentees. They would talk about school and their friends, and we focused on listening and asking some follow-up questions like, what is it you like about your friend? Or how did math go this week? I know it seems hard. Our mentees had never been involved with the mentor program previously, so they were excited, but a little scared. We let them play on the school equipment, or we just sat and talked, whichever they chose. They enjoyed showing us what they could do and loved having an audience. We avoided grilling our buddies with a shower of questions. We just showed interest in the things they talked about with us. Here are some tips on how to get started and what to do when you have your first few meetings. Before you meet your buddy, have some general questions you can ask that are easy for your buddy to answer. For example, we asked how old each one was and what he or she liked about school, favorite subjects, or favorite sport. We asked if they played games or liked being outdoors or indoors more. We were surprised how quickly the time went by, and the buddies were too. They said they couldn't wait for the next time we'd visit. We usually brought a small treat, wrapped candy or fruit, just to make a positive impact. It was unusual for them to have the full attention of an adult. We talked briefly about ourselves because they were interested to know if we had kids too.
We hope you enjoyed hearing about Jessie's experiences and that you will be encouraged to have the same positive impact in a young person's life.
Perhaps tell them what you do during the day or your job. They are curious. Because I am a teacher, they wanted to know if I was a tough or easy teacher. I told them I was a good teacher because I wanted my students to learn. Once your buddy is talking a bit, let him continue. Avoid asking too personal a question, like where he or she lives, how many people live there, etc. See if you can find common ground, favorite foods, favorite movies, or television show, or even music. There are, of course, challenges to being a mentor. I wanted to fix things that I felt weren't right, like poor language or exaggerations, even lying. But our responsibility as a mentor was and is to focus on supporting these young people and gaining trust. For me, these challenges began with listening to them talk about some of the choices they and their families made. But I had to remember that we are providing a safe environment for them to express themselves and to help them make better choices. The girls all had potential in school, but they had very little help at home with homework or problem solving, so we did some of that together. They often didn't want to do work, but when I looked at their papers from school and praised them for their good work and encouraged them to explain their assignments, they liked the attention, so their schoolwork actually improved. When one of the boys got into a confrontation with other boys at school, he would talk about it with my husband and then figure out how we could avoid that same situation next time so he didn't get in trouble. Of these 5 students we have continued to mentor over 13 years, 3 have graduated from high school, 1 is still there, and 2 are taking college classes presently, which is amazing. We continue to see them regularly, and we found that the changes were small, but they were positive. They see their futures differently than when they were 6 or 7 years old. I found the experience to be very worthwhile. I really didn't know what to expect when we started, but we feel like part of their families now. One of the girls had me go with her to her counseling appointment to register for college. When we finished, over 2 hours later, she turned to me and said, If it weren't for you both, I wouldn't be here today doing this. Watching my mentees getting more engaged in learning, actually finishing high school, and walking across the stage, some of them for the first in their families, in part because of my being there to encourage them and offering advice when they asked for it, was the biggest reward I could receive. They learned to take some risks, like trying new food, listening when we thanked people for helping us with directions, and eventually they began to do the same thing, which made them feel better about themselves. One vivid memory that I have is the first time we took them hiking and they found they were capable. It was an exploration of the unknown for them and felt risky. Like us, you may only make a small difference, but that difference will be a positive one. Be like our buddies. Take the risk.
We hope this video will be a valuable asset to you as you begin mentoring your own student buddy. It is a risk, but it's a risk well worth taking. Thank you for being willing to make a difference in one child's life.